Another Australian. Oh no. Okay, so I'm Sebastian, and here's my story. In case of an emergency, oxygen masks will fall from the ceiling. Put yours on first before helping anyone else out. My emergency happened when I was 24. I'd finished high school, I didn't know what to do. My career advisor told me that I needed to get a degree, so I did. 3.5 years later, $19,000 in debt. I had a degree. I had no idea what it was, but I had it. And it got me thinking quite curiously about what was important in life. So my reaction was to go traveling overseas to various countries and continents until I was 24 in Canada. And I received a phone call late one night from a friend of mine back in Sydney, where I'm from. And he told me the news that one of my close friends, a guy called Chris, who I'd grown up with, had very suddenly and very tragically passed away overnight. And that moment made me ponder a lot of questions immediately. Why am I here? What am I doing? Whatever it is I am doing, am I doing it well? But the one thing that stuck in my head was simply this notion. If Chris knew that he only had 24 years on earth, would he have lived the same way if given another chance? Would he have changed anything? Was he happy? And I never got to ask that question to him, but the more I thought about it, he lived on the beaches, he loved his family, he loved his mates, he loved having a beer, he loved being a big kid. Rightly or wrongly, by anyone else's code, Chris was living a life that reflected his values. He wouldn't have changed a thing. I then asked myself that same question at 24 in Canada. Looking back at my life, could I honestly say that I was living a life that I was happy with? Or would I change everything? And instantly, with consideration, I realized that I would change everything. So I picked up a pen and a piece of paper, and I began jotting down everything that I thought might make me smile, because as I saw it, I wasn't happy. One thing turned into 10 to 50 to 100 things, and as I looked at this bit of paper, I became extremely emotional, and I decided then and there to drop everything in my life to pursue my list. You're going to judge me, and that's fine, but I flew straight to Las Vegas because I've always wanted to marry a stranger there. Now, it's legal, so how can that be wrong? Long story short, I met a stripper called Crystal Mud Wrestling, and I proposed to her. She said yes. So I found a chapel, quite romantic, an Elvis impersonator, a stretch tummer, you know. All these people, I don't know them, they just turned up. They thought it was funny. The only person who didn't turn up was, of course, Crystal, which left me with a problem. So I decided to create an opportunity, and I looked down at the crowd and I said, is there anyone else here who'd consider marrying me? And it turns out there was. Her name was Chevali. She was my receptionist at the hotel. Turns out she'd always wanted to marry someone for 24 hours as well. She was just waiting for the right person. So, Elvis was fantastic. We had a very awkward moment when he asked us to kiss, because it was the first and the last time that we ever touched. And I only say that because I know what you're wondering. And the answer is no. So, this was my first tick, which is great. But beneath this was something far more important. I'd achieved things before, but this is the first time that I'd identified a goal for myself, by myself, for me. And I went through the process of getting there and I achieved it. And immediately I felt empowered, I felt in control of my life. And I was smiling, genuinely. And I thought, well, why stop? So I just haven't. I've been going for 7 years, I don't do anything else. I've ticked off 72 items. Thanks, Mum. I've raised a lot of money for charity, I think $300,000, and this journey I'm no longer in control of. But this is not about a bucket list. This is about something deeper I've discovered. This is about finding your passion, and through that finding purpose. This is about growing in every day, in every way. And I think it's about connection with each other, of course, but I think firstly with yourself. And this is my story. Why did it take a loss in my life for me to consider something good? And why do we hear that story all the time? Someone's diagnosed with an illness, let's call it cancer. Someone's involved in a car crash. And if they're lucky enough to survive, they're the ones that jump out of bed and climb a mountain or write a book or propose to a loved one or start a company or learn how to play ukulele. Why should it take a dark moment to consider a light moment? And I don't think it should. There are many people who I've met who have done amazing things, some of which are in this room. And it seems the only difference between someone who does and someone who doesn't is this word, permission. They give themselves permission to consider what's important to them. With that, they acknowledge their values, who they are as a person, and they identify goals. And when you have that goal, that meaningful goal, it's just a choice to pursue it. Life is about choices. You choose to be here, you choose not to be here. Because at the end of the day, we are entirely accountable for what we do. We're not bystanders, we're in the driving seat. And if this is right, the question therefore becomes, what's on your list? Have you considered this? If you know in your head something right away, that's great, awesome. If not, why not? And it could be anything. It could be something personal, could be something professional, could be within the community. It could be something, we're all different. It's a relative concept, it's beautiful, we're all so different. It could be something that scares you or challenges you, it could be financial, experiential, it doesn't matter, it could be all of these things. The only thing of importance is that you know what it is for you. When I wrote my list, I realized that I like getting out of my comfort zone and feeling awkward, like I am now, on stage. I don't know what you're thinking, some of you are laughing, others aren't. I know who you are. But I like that. So number 98 from my list was to get onto a red carpet, because I don't belong on a red carpet. I'm not wealthy, I'm not famous. Therein lied the challenge for me. So I Googled red carpet events. The first one to pop up was the Cannes Film Festival. So I simply took myself to Cannes, to the south of France, with one objective, to get onto the red carpet. How do I get on the red carpet?
You have to listen.
Would it be laughing at me or impossible?
You're the man. I'm sorry, but market bet is not really best.
I would never usually admit this, especially not to camera, but I'm actually a little bit worried. Good luck. Thank you.
That takes a lot of nerve. I take my hat out to that guy.
Right. Feel completely out of place. Let's go. Trying to get a ticket. Have you got a ticket?
No. Do you have one for us somewhere?
Everyone here is looking for tickets, really, aren't they? The last couple of minutes, things are taking a turn. We thought we could get right up to the side of the red carpet there, which would have been an excellent platform for me to jump the fence. But what we see, we're no longer anywhere near it. In fact, no one is. Russell Crowe is going to be there for Robin Hood, fellow Australian, so I thought if I get to him, he would be my in. Russell, it's me, Sebastian! Sebastian! It's not giving me like this, Dad. It's just over there. He'll come. He'll come to me. Can I touch the carpet? I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm on the carpet. So would you mind taking a photo? I've lost my cameraman. So, thanks. Thanks. If you remember why I did this, it was to get out of my comfort zone. And I've never been more scared. I was sweating, my heart was pounding the whole day. I had to hire that suit in the end. It cost €80, I wasn't wearing socks, I was an imposter. As I was creeping across the road, I remember thinking, I'm gonna get tasered, which I didn't, thankfully. And the final security guard, for some reason, just let me through, and I don't know why to this day. And I remember walking past him and seeing the corner of the red carpet on the ground, and I just put my right foot on, and then my left foot, and no one touched me, and I just kept on walking. And I'm not exaggerating this point, I immediately felt euphoric, buzzing, like I was the most successful human that had ever graced our planet. Don't laugh. It's not true, of course, but that's how you feel when you tick off something that's important to you, that's attributed to your values. What is important to you? The funny part of this story was I was there for half an hour, and no one knew I shouldn't have been. I was talking to celebrities, but they all left to watch the movie. So I was the last person on the carpet. And the thousands of people and the paparazzi that were there were all looking at me. It was horrible, which was great. So not knowing what to do, I just walked back down to the fence that I'd crawled under, and I ended up just signing autographs for half an hour, which was, anyway. So this is quite a self-indulgent story so far, but what's happened is quite beautiful. The question that I was asking myself, what's on your list, started to get heard, and it resonated with people around the world. And suddenly, not through asking, people would send me their lists. Thank you for doing what you're doing. You've inspired me to consider my dreams. Thank you for doing what you're doing. These are the things that I've now done. 7 years into this journey, lives have changed. This is no longer about one man and a list. This is about a community and living and being, unraveling who we are so that we can be who we are. I changed my website immediately. It's an online community, of course. People share their goals. It's quite beautiful. And my life changed when I met this guy here called Mark. He saw me on TV, emailed me and said, I've created a list of 100 things. Would you come down to Melbourne and shave my head? Which I did, obviously. Easy. But when I got to know Mark, we are very different. He's a quadriplegic. At the age of 32, completely able-bodied, went to Greece backpacking, got bitten by a tick, contracted Lyme disease. Quadriplegic, can't talk, can't move, ventilated to sleep at night, 24-hour care team. And as I was shaving his head, it was the first time that I'd ever helped anyone else out. I said, mate, what else can I do for you? Because I saw how much it's meant to him. And he said via his translator, I want to do a half marathon. And I looked at him and I said, okay, how? And he simply said, push me. Which is funny, but it's also quite deep. I'd never wanted to run that distance in my life. I think it's disgusting. But at that moment, it was the most important thing to me. And so I signed us up for the Melbourne Half Marathon, and this happened a few weeks later.
I guess I just woke up to a different day.
Come on, Kayla.
In a different way. And you were never to know that your red light was my cuticle. And you were never to see. So I'm cleaning out the rooms of my head and heart, and I'm digging up the boxes I had hidden away, and I'm laying them all out, and I've made a part of the things I said I'd do on another day. 'Cause there are 100 things that I wanna do, and there are 100 things, but I'm scared to. But if there is anything I have learned from you, is that another day now could be too late. So I won't wait.
Oh, thanks. Helping someone was the greatest thing I've ever done. First myself, and then somebody else. And I haven't stopped since. In fact, I'm approached by people all around the world now who need help with various things, and I can't stop. That's what I do. I travel the world helping people. It's been turned into a TV show more recently, actually, funnily enough. But I can't help everyone. I'm just one person. But the most incredible development more recently is this. There are people in the world who now contact me, and they say, do you know anyone we can help? And 100 Things has become this conduit, this middle person for people who can help and people who need help. And they are meeting in the middle. And it is unbelievable. In case of an emergency, oxygen masks will fall from the ceiling. Put yours on first before helping others. But make sure you help others. Selfish is putting yours on, ordering a cocktail, and reclining. Selfless is putting yours on and then helping. We've helped amazing people so far. A poor girl in the hospital, we got her through the community to meet Taylor Swift. We helped a guy having a very hard time pimp his four-wheel drive and go camping in Australia. Sporting heroes. I mean, the list really goes on. This guy in the middle through the TV show, through Defy and Patel, the collaboration. We helped a war veteran, a hero, an American war veteran, lost a leg in Afghanistan, learn how to ski with one leg. That was his dream. And this lady here was the first person who ever contacted me who was suicidal. She had a rope on the curtain rail and was ready to jump. She contacted me, I called her, we've become friends. She's now traveling the world pursuing her list. The idea of, well, thanks, yeah. It's about connection. It's quite wonderful, and 100 Things is now offering that opportunity to people, which I want to extend to you, the WORLDZ community. 2 months ago, I got approached by a guy who told me about his auntie called Helen, Operation Snow Bunny. She wanted to touch the snow. Sadly for her, she was diagnosed with bowel cancer, 3 months to live. I contacted her, I rang her, and I said, tell me again what it is you want to do. She said, I've never seen snow in real life, can you help me touch it? And I said, of course. So I went to my community, and I said, how do we help this lady? and 2 days later we'd raised $3,500. We had flights, accommodation, transfers, 1 million volunteers. I rang her up in a hospital bed and I said, Helen, we're sending you to the snow on the 25th of June, just gone. She was stoked. 4 days before she went to the snow, she died. She never got to achieve that dream. And her husband, I had dinner with him 2 weeks ago, and he told me that the last conversation they had, she said, I'm not going to make it to the snow, but I want the money not to go towards my funeral. I want the money to go to the next person who Sebastian's able to find to help. I'm not here today to deliver a keynote. I'm not here to talk about myself. I'm here to offer an opportunity. I'm looking for somebody to help. And if anyone in this room knows somebody who really deserves a helping hand with a dream, please find me today and let me know. I don't think I'm the only person who'd like to help, so equally, if you'd like to help me help this person who I haven't met yet, find me today and let me know. This is what the world's about. It started with one question: what's on your list? Consider it today for yourself, for your family, for your friends, for your colleagues, because the potential is that you can change your life and the life of someone you haven't met yet. Isn't that beautiful? People of WORLDZ, let's change the world. Thank you.